Hello, good morning, beautiful souls. Although it could be any time of the day when you're seeing this, it's morning for me here on Valentine's Day. I thought about doing a reading on love, and I decided that what was coming to me is where are you on your journey? Where are we? We're all feeling this movement, a lot of things coming and going. And so today I thought I would do a reading starting out with the runes. Now I have this great deck of cards here, the rune cards by Blum. And I thought, what a great way. I've done a practice that he recommends in this card deck to find out where you are on your journey. And the journey is done with 13 runes. It's called the cycle of initiation. So what I thought I would do today is draw 3 cards and have a 3-card pick a card reading, and then we'll see which card you were drawn to. There's no wrong place, there's no hierarchy system here. It's just the level of learning and what phase of learning that you're going through right now. So I'm gonna give these a little bit of a shuffle and ask for 3 cards for this 3-card reading. So this is our first card. And let's ask for 2 more. One for the second. What is our second reading? Where is the second? I think it's this one that kept wanting to come out. This is the strength. And lastly, the 3rd card. Oops. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So it's funny because 3 cards came out, but the one that landed here at my feet is the one that I'm going to take, and interestingly it ended up upside down. So because these runes do have an upside down meaning, typically I would read it just like this, but for some reason I think it wants to be read this way in reverse, because it came out on the floor in reverse, and then I picked it up and I thought I righted it, but I did not. So I'm gonna let you take a peek a little bit closer at these cards. So this is of growth. And this card is the card, if you can see that, of strength. And this is the card of movement. And I'll show you right side up. So take a deep breath and see if intuitively you're drawn to one card, just a little bit more. You don't know why, it's not maybe your favorite picture, but there's something in it. And I think that's the card reading for you. Although you may find something that's relevant in each one of these readings if you'd like to take a look at them all. So as we move forward, I'm going to do a series of cards that are going to add to each one of these cards. Each deck that I've chose, I feel like might offer another clue into where you're going on this path, whether it be growth, strength, or movement. All right, take a moment and I will be right back with your reading. Hello, good morning, beautiful souls. Although it could be any time of the day when you're seeing this, it's morning for me here on Valentine's Day. I thought about doing a reading on love, and I decided that what was coming to me is where are you on your journey? Where are we? We're all feeling this movement, a lot of things coming and going. And so today I thought I would do a reading starting out with the runes. Now I have this great deck of cards here, the rune cards by Blum. And I thought, what a great way. I've done a practice that he recommends in this card deck to find out where you are on your journey. And the journey is done with 13 runes. It's called the cycle of initiation. So what I thought I would do today is draw 3 cards and have a 3-card pick a card reading, and then we'll see which card you were drawn to. There's no wrong place. There's no hierarchy system here. It's just the level of learning and what phase of learning that you're going through right now. So I'm going to give these a little bit of a shuffle and ask for 3 cards for this 3-card reading. So this is our first card. And let's ask for 2 more. One for the second. What is our second reading? Where is the second? I think it's this one that kept wanting to come out. This is the strength. And lastly, the 3rd card. Oops. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So it's funny because 3 cards came out, but the one that landed here at my feet is the one that I'm going to take. And interestingly, it ended up upside down. So because these runes do have an upside down meaning, typically I would read it just like this, but for some reason I think it wants to be read this way in reverse, because it came out on the floor in reverse, and then I picked it up and I thought I righted it, but I did not. So I'm going to let you take a peek a little bit closer at these cards. So this is of growth. And this card is the card, if you can see that, of strength. And this is the card of movement. And I'll show you right side up. So take a deep breath and see if intuitively you're drawn to one card. Just a little bit more. You don't know why. It's not maybe your favorite picture, but there's something in it. And I think that's the card reading for you. Although you may find something that's relevant in each one of these readings if you'd like to take a look at them all. So as we move forward, I'm going to do a series of cards that are going to add to each one of these cards. Each deck that I've chose, I feel like might offer another clue into where you're going on this path, whether it be growth, strength, or movement. All right, take a moment and I will be right back with your reading. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so the rune that we chose for you today is growth. And as you can see, it's a really beautiful image with lots of stars around, and it's a tree, which we all know represents growth. And it's kind of in a shape of a bee, which is the rune called Berkana. And Berkana is, I think it symbolizes also like the birch tree. So in the runes, the birch tree is a sign of new growth, you know, in the spring. So this card is really asking you to kind of clean out spaces that, you know, maybe it's time to clean the house, whatever it is. When you move forward with intention, you've been growing. So in your cycle, this is another time of growth for you. So when we take a look at where we are, where we've been, and where we want to go, it takes us in a direction. If we clean up and clean out after we look at where we're going, then we can move forward with clarity. And let's take a look and see if we can do that. If we can get some more cards around Berkana. Now, well, there you go. That one really wanted to come out. It just popped right out. The cards that the second deck that I'm going to add to this to find out where we are on this journey of growth is the Journey deck. And this deck is, let me see who this is by. This one is by Alison, Filice. Really, really fun deck. I thought it might be interesting to bring in these cards. So I'm going to take a quick shuffle and see if we can get additional information. Where is this leading us? What do we need to know about our journey, where we are? Is there additional cards from this journey book? Yes, I think it's that one right there. Okay. So on the path, the first card that popped out here is Awaken. I love that. So I feel like, you know, I don't know where you are here. Are you still eyes closed? Are you starting to become awake? That's kind of what I feel like, is that on this spiritual growth, or whatever growth it is for you, I feel like you're just waking up to something a little bit different. And then the next card is Create. How fun is this one? I love this card when this card comes out, because it's a direct point of inspiration that is bringing about some sort of creativity for you. Well, that's really interesting. I had a beep in the background that went out just as I was talking about a point of creation. So that's telling me that there is a sign. I don't know if you've already found the sign, if you've seen the sign, but something is really wanting you on this path as you're growing to really be aware of what's coming, what wants to be created in your life. Are you finding, I mean, I don't know if you're doing a job. I feel like I need to, yeah, I'm kind of getting the information. I just needed to pause for a minute. And maybe that's where you are. Maybe that's where or why you see the card Awaken, first with the eye fully closed and then partially open and then fully open. It's as if what the reading wanted me to do was pause, to share with you that this is a time of growth after a time of pause. And that as you're coming out of this phase where, you know, maybe it was destructive, maybe it was confusing, maybe it was amazing, and now you're just on this next level of creation, I feel like there might have been some sort of pause. And so maybe you haven't moved forward quite yet, and you're trying to get all your ducks in a row. And I feel like this card of growth is telling you just to clean out any old energy and focus your awareness on the things that you want to create in your life, because this is going to be a really fruitful time for you, I think. I'm going to take a peek at the Book of Awaken, and the book that talks about the card Awaken, which I always find a lot of fun. This reader has some really interesting quotes, and the one that goes with with the Awaken card is Eckhart Tolle, and the quote is, "This is the real spiritual awakening. When something emerges from within, one could almost say that something more powerful shines through the person." I've noticed that in people, is that when people have this sense of, it's almost a beautiful calmness that comes across them. And like there's an inner light, and you can see it on their face. It's almost as if they're trying not to smile so much, because people might think they're a little crazy because they're so happy, or how can anybody be that happy? But I do believe that. So I hope that's you. I hope that you've come into a space of growth where you're now feeling that inner light, that inner joy, and you're feeling a deep sense of, maybe creativity arising. One of the points that it's making in the book is the world is about more than getting from point A to point B. So when this card of growth comes out, and you're really feeling that you've taken in a lot of understanding about what you've just gone through, or what you've just learned, or maybe you just met somebody and they're bringing you into a new phase of development about yourself. Something has awakened you to where you are right now. And in that, you realize that where we are right now it's really all there is this moment right now. Because even if you think about tomorrow, there is never a tomorrow. It's always now. We plan, we do all these things, we think about, the past a lot, the present a lot. But when we're doing that, it's all in the now. And when you experience tomorrow, you're going to experience it now. You can't ever experience tomorrow. I know that sounds a little kind of crazy, but that's kind of what's coming across right now. So another line that it says in the book is, this is where we draw our energy, our intuition, our knowledge, who we are and where we're going. We are all one, but we each have this inner brightness about us. We have this inner light, and there are no two people that are the same. We are, it's like a snowflake. If you can think about, there are no two snowflakes that are the same, and that's us. So as we awaken to the growth and the path and the things that we are experiencing, they're all experienced in the now by us. We have the only perspective from, that point. Everybody has an idea, everybody has their own perspective, but it's all unique to themselves. So this maybe is maybe for the first time you're realizing how beautiful and how special you really are. Because once you do that, once you realize that there are no two people the same, and that you can start feeling that inner light coming forward and realizing your beauty and your divinity, we can create anything from that point. We can move into a space with others or by ourselves or with art or with music or with word or with, just sitting in a beautiful space of intention out in the woods and honoring and loving the world around us, because each thing we look at is a divine expression itself. So each thing we're looking at is unique as well. And if you think of life that way, it's very magical. Wow, this reading is going in a very interesting direction. And what Create card is, the quote on that card is, what wants to come into the world through you? So since we all are very unique, and we're all offering this unique perspective, and everything that comes into our existence is unique, then everything that you bring forward is a unique expression and offers something to the whole, because no one can create uniquely like you. So the next deck of cards that I'm going to ask for more information to help us in where we are going on our journey is Spirit Mamas, beautiful book by Victoria Nielsen and Tiffany Wilkes. I got this, I was at a yoga center, a yoga retreat, and oh wow. Okay, these cards really wanted to be shown, so these are the ones that are going to come out. So the two cards that are coming out is the Maze of Perception. Wow, I love it. I haven't had these cards that long, and I don't think I've ever got this card out. Look at that, how beautiful. So yeah, so depending on where you are in this maze, everything looks different. And as we were talking about unique perspectives, it doesn't get any more unique than that. You could be right at the beginning and you're going in with excitement, or you could be in the middle feeling like, wow, that was quite the journey. But wherever you are, even if you're in the middle and you're confused, it's all a process. It's all an experience that happens right now. And what are you deriving from that experience? This woman it looks like, it's really beautiful how they created this card. Is this woman is not in the middle. She's standing somewhere in the maze, but she's meditating. She stopped. It's like what I was feeling when we first started opening the card reading, is that there needs to be some sort of pause that's happening where you can reflect on what it is that has happened in your life. Take it all in and recognize that you are you're a unique person here. There's a creative process that really wants to be born out of you. What is it? What is it that's trying to come forward in you right now? And I'm going to see if I can get some additional information from the guidebook. The guidebook has some really, really fun, they separate it into a variety of different things. And one of the things that they offer is this like chakra. So this one is a solar plexus. And as we were talking about the sun and shining, you know, of course the solar plexus came out. What a beautiful woman. And she is feeling that inner light, I believe. And it's kind of all coming into that same thought. Then it's time for you to maybe move on. I got a quote yesterday and I just loved it. It's by David White, and what the quote said was, anything or anyone who doesn't make you feel alive is too small for you. So sometimes that's I think that's what this reading is saying, is take the time for you. Take the time to awaken to your true nature, to your inner light. If you have things around you that don't make you feel alive, that they're kind of like pulling you down a little bit, then I think that all of this is telling you to, you know, take a step back. I mean, if it's, you have this one beautiful life, and if, you know, there are people that are helping you shine, then woohoo. If they're not, then maybe it's time to kind of move away and go into a different direction. I grabbed the book about the solar plexus, and that's what the book is asking you to do. It's like, how are you feeling? Where is your energy? Because the solar plexus is, if you're familiar with the chakras, it's the third chakra up, which is why it's colored here by yellow. It is where our inner light resonates. And that's where we began this reading, is talking about our inner light. But it's also reflective of how we hold our power, our worth, and our ability to take action in life, is what this book said. It's a power grid, so to speak, for all the energy. So if you have been feeling sluggish and you haven't felt like you're in your power, this reading could be telling you, take a break. Take a break. It's time for you. It's time for you to feel that inner light again. It's your time to shine. So get ready for it. It says, I find this really relevant because it says, as mamas, because this is about spirit mamas, this chakra tends to fall out of alignment when we continually give and give and give, not taking the time that we need for ourselves, for rest and to recharge. So that is a fabulous message, I think, that it's offering you to take a look. So on this path, on the journey, I think it's telling you that it's time for you to take a breath, recharge. You have so much to offer. You have this beautiful inner light, but maybe you're feeling a little bit out of balance, and this growth is helping you see just that, awaken to your true light. You have a lot to offer here. The next deck that I'm bringing forward, it's a well-worn deck. I love it. It's the medicine cards that brings about animal energy. And I'm really feeling animal energy in a big way right now. And whenever I'm getting kind of hung up on things, I bring out my animal cards, because in this beautiful, quiet way, they bring about understanding. And, you know, our animals are so very precious. And I think, you know, there's a lot of animals that are disappearing. So I love the energy from medicine cards coming forward from Jamie Sands and David Carson. The discovery of the power through the ways of the animal. So what animal would like to come forward for this path of growth and showing our true nature? What animal would like to offer its wisdom and guidance for this? It's funny because I'm feeling like it's this one right here. It's moose energy, but it came in backwards. So there are relevance to these cards in forward and backward. So this one is moose energy, and it's number 11. So if you are drawn to numbers, 11 is a divine number. And it's usually, I always feel like 11 is a lucky number, and it tells me that source or angels or something are around, that I feel like it's asking you to pay attention when you see 1-1, because there's something really divine happening right here. And the moose energy is all about self-esteem. I feel like I want to write moose. I really do. Because when the moose card is in reverse or upside down, it's kind of asking you to remember that others have the same potential as you, as we were talking about earlier in the reading, and not to become careless in your appreciation of their gifts and your gifts. That you have this inner light. You have a very unique perspective, and everyone has an inner light and a very unique perspective. And everyone is on a path, a journey in this lifetime. And when you bump up against people and they come into your space and you come into their space, you have an opportunity to build each other up and let, each other shine, or try to control or, manipulate, or, those are lower energies. But allowing and seeing the light in others is a very higher energy, because when you offer something to another, generally you get something back. When you push or you come at it from a place that you're better than them, then you're not seeing their true light and you're not letting your own light shine. So contrary moose is asking you to grow quietly for a while, to calm your spirit and allow the strength and wisdom of silence to enter your heart. I find this very fascinating, because I started the whole reading on a really big pause and got quiet, which was a little uncomfortable because I'm doing a reading where you're listening and you're looking at the cards. But I felt that. I felt deeply that that's what I needed to do. So knowing what the book says, the last line says, knowing the wisdom of silence, so that when it is proper to speak, you can take pride in your words. Wow, that is a really interesting medicine. And when you're not feeling good about who you are, because this card denotes self-esteem, and we're going at things from kind of a hurt place, and we sometimes we don't recognize that. We're really just wanting to feel better. But without that knowing of why we're moving forward, which I think is where kind of like what the maze is saying, maybe you need to take a pause, a break, that you've gone through this great period of growth, or maybe you're about to enter this great period of growth. And it's really important for you to have the perspective, for you to know that your inner light wants to shine, wants to come through, but so does everybody else's. If we can look at people as a beautiful divine expression of God or wisdom, however it is that you like to look at people, because I believe that about everyone, even the people that kind of make me feel yicky. I know that they're just not letting their light shine, or maybe they're there to reflect something yicky in me. It's nobody's out to hurt you. Nobody's out to, but it happens. And I don't think you're out to hurt other people either. But I think what this reading is asking you to do is to take a pause, not to look at people as if they're not divine, because they are all divine. Everyone is here on a pathway of perception, and we're all bumping into each other for a divine interconnection of some sort. So I think the growth is asking you to awaken to your true light and to see and to allow that the perception that everybody has a light to shine. So the last deck that I'm going to work with is the Crow Tarot. And the tarot cards I like to bring in at the end because they really help sum things up. They're a little bit more specific at times. Yeah. Okay, so beautiful that the two cards are coming out is the King of Wands, which mimics this solar plexus. This is where your inner energy is coming out. And when you have harnessed that, and maybe you have a lot of energy, when you have the ability to harness the King of Wands, then you recognize your power, your light, your ability to not only shine, but create. He's on the top because he has his strength. He knows his strength. He's standing in his power. So I think that when you awaken to your light, you will be able to find your true power. And then you've got, the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands here, I love the Crow Tarot. It's so fabulous. If you look, there's some things that he's kind of leaving. Oh, I'm sorry. I said it was wands. It's not. It's the swords. He's letting go of things here. He's kind of let go of some of himself, is what I'm getting from this card. Let me see if I can get that to you better. He's letting go. He's actually built a little bit of a barrier here between what was. All of this movement here, he's ready to go after a time of, swords are about your words, the language, the things that have been said. And I like this card because he's flying away with more information. And he's let some things go. He's recognized that he's needed to let things go and that there are things that he can bring forward. Let's see what else. Well, there you go. The cards just really the ones that want to come out really want to come out. And this card is the Nine of Cups, which a lot of times it's, it's like the big win, right? When you have everything you need, abundance. So I think that that's it's funny. All of these cards have this light or this spark that's coming in, right? This is the awakening. This has stars around it. This is spark to create. This is showing this inner, wisdom found once you take a moment and figure your way through a difficult situation. And this is about the light within. They're all telling you to look at the light within and to recognize the abundance of what you already have. So I feel like this card also wants to come up, which is the Three of Pentacles. And this is about, really working with others. So perhaps being able, these two are looking at each other, right? This one has everything they need. This one is feeling the abundance of what's right in front of them, right? It's when you're on a journey, you start, you kind of pull stuff together, you take a little taste of what's around you, so you can kind of figure out what your next step is. So I think that that's where we're going here, is that you have great energy, great light within you to step into that power and create from a space of wealth, of inner knowing. Bring in your self-esteem. Don't make others feel bad about who they are or where they are. And focus on your own inner light. Are you helping others shine, or are you, bringing people down? Because I think it's asking you to work with others. I think it's asking you to work with more awareness with others, because you want to shine brightly, and there's no reason why you can't shine and others can't shine in the same situation. So I'm asking for a little bit more clarity as we come to the conclusion. What is coming through for pile number one? What are we creating other than this inner light? Which, do we really need any more than inner light, right? I feel like this one here is coming out. Okay, so the Lovers. So I feel like the Lovers card has a lot going on, and this is a really interesting deck. They're piecing together, and my clock just went off. It is chiming in, and it's 10, like the completion. So these two crows are coming head to head with each other. And they're doing it. The Kundalini snake is above them. They've been on a path. They've got two trees. There's stability here. There's so much to offer. They're over the heart because they're both connected by the heart. Some people also think that it represents choices, but I think what this is asking you to do is to move forward in a heart-based way, to move forward, to love who you are, where you are, and to bring that out into the world, to bring your light, let that inner light shine within you. And when you do that, you can move, you can create, you can step in, you can appreciate things with love. Because, you know, even though I'm actually doing the reading on Valentine's Day, I feel like that's where this is coming from, is that when you can move forward with your inner light and with your inner knowing, and you move into the world with love, that you will always have the things that you need. That you can also help others achieve the things that they need. Is there anything else? Okay. These kind of flopped up on the top, so I'm going to go ahead and read these. Wow. Okay, so it's a really interesting. So you have 2 5s here, and 5s to me represent change. And I think that that's kind of the main point here, is that you need to change the way that you're maybe coming at others. Because he's got 2 swords here. There's still one up here. These guys have just kind of given up. And then a couple have flown away, and he kind of feels very proud of himself, right? Because look what I have. But what happened here? This can be about words that really are self-empowering, but kind of to the expense of others. And that's not a good way to be. You know, after you've recognized that you don't have to slice at others to get what you want, you know, because this is about cups and about your emotion and where you're feeling. And there are 2 cups behind him, just like he's holding the 2 swords here. And then there's 2 people here. Is that if you can take the 2 swords, if you can let go of all this like damage that's been done, the emotions, the, you know, disempowerment, and come together in like minds with love, then you can have everything that you want. Then you're right at the top, because this is the King of Pentacles, and he's achieved a level of understanding, a worldly level, an experiential level of understanding, of having it all, of being able to be in this world and having what he needs to move forward. And I think that that's what this message and this growth is all about. But you need to take a moment. This guy is taking a moment, and he's reflecting on what happened, the losses. And he is not. He's like looking in a different direction, pretending this didn't happen, but it did. He could have really hurt some people with his words. And, you know, people are leaving his life because he's just kind of been a bit of a jerk maybe. But he's picking up the pieces, recognizing that, you know, maybe that wasn't the best way to go about things, taking a bit of a pause, moving forward with love, with your inner light. Let that inner light shine, and allow yourself to receive the abundance of everything this world has to offer. And when you do that, you have so much more to offer other people as well. So this is your reading, and your journey is all about growth, awakening to your true inner light, and the ability to work with others and help others' light shine as well. Thank you for being a part of the Art of the Oracle. If you like what you see, please hit the like button, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And if you'd like to have a particular reading, let me know about it. Or if you want a more in-depth reading for yourself, a private reading, I offer those as well. I'll put that in the box below. Thanks again. Have a beautiful day. Bye now. Pile number 2, thanks for coming back. I want to show you the card up close, and this card is about strength. And what is really fun about this card is, there's a lot going on in a very small space here. And if you look at it, you can see where there's kind of a darkness going in. And when you're going into a cave and you're looking into something that you're unaware of or you can't see, it takes a lot of strength to keep that going. And this is a card, it's card 5. And I always think that the 5s represent change of some sort, right? Is that when I see 5s, and I've seen a lot of 5s lately, is that something is going on and something's going to happen. And I can expect a bit of a shift. So I don't know the exact way to pronounce a lot of the runes, but this one is Uruz, which is Uruz. And it does indicate, that you have the ability to move forward, possibly create new beginnings, because this is a doorway to something of some kind, right? So I heard something recently that I thought was really quite brilliant, and I'd never thought of it in that way before. But every doorway that you walk through is a beginning and an end. So let's even just say if you're going into the grocery store, you are ending your moment outside and going into a whole new space, and you're going to be in this moment for a time period, getting everything, you have a process of how you shop, whatever, and then you're going to walk back out again. But you're going to go through a doorway each time you do it. And I think that if we can look at our life as a constant series of beginning and endings instead of fearing endings, because we're doing it literally every moment and every day. We are walking into different spaces, different places, different mindsets, different communities, different, spaces in nature and in your house, in, times, everything is a beginning and an end. So this is a positive rune of strength and growth. And kind of represents, if you can recognize that being in your strength helps you move forward. Because when we're not in our strength, we kind of get stuck in the muck. We get mired in a space where we're not seeing things differently, that we're seeing the same old thing, and our perspectives maybe are getting a little bit dulled. But this card is saying no. It's a time of perpetual renewing, of birthing, of moving forward, of letting go. I'm going to take a look at the book and see if it offers anything. It says, as in nature, this progression consists of 5 stages. This is on the cycle of life, which is what we started off with, is that the runes offer 13 cycles of initiation. But this is, the 5 stages are death, decay, fertilization, gestation, and rebirth. And that is constantly happening all the time. Events occurring now may well prompt you to undergo some sort of death of who you are. And since self-change is never coerced, we are always free to resist and remain mindful that the new form, the new life, is always greater than the old. And that's what I was talking about before, is that if we stay stagnant in one place, not only do we just age in one space, but so does our understanding of things. It really becomes outdated, because only through experience and through stepping into something new do we have a new perspective and a new series of growth. So it says here that it could be a time where you prepare for an opportunity disguised as a loss. So you may have to let go of something that you don't want to let go of because it feels like you just lost something. But since we're always stepping into a new moment and leaving something behind, if you can see that as simple as that. And I know it's being in relationships, if this is about a relationship for you and you don't feel like you can let it go, I I would ask you to take a look at why you can't let it go, or why you don't want to let it go. Because I had a quote that came out, and I read it in reading number 1, and I really feel like it's relevant for you right now as well. Anything or anyone who doesn't make you feel alive is too small for you. I have that quote now on my refrigerator. Because we all have expectations, and when they're not followed, or they're not fulfilled, or things are not the way we thought they were going to be, it seems like they were wrong. But a lot of times we're going at it with our brain, which is saying one thing, and the expression is something different. So that goes back to experiences. Your brain, as you move through additional experiences, takes on different information. If you're in a space of never changing, your brain doesn't have the ability to upload, upgrade, change, take on new information. And so it comes from a place of maybe the old patterning and the old information. And maybe there's new information to receive. So it says the rune of strength puts you on notice that your soul and the universe support you in your new growth. So learn to adapt, and this could really be a creative time for you as you move forward. It's okay. Step through the door. You're always doing it anytime. So there's something great on the other side, I think. The next cards that we're getting are the Journey, and this is by Alison, Filice. And let's ask for additional information. So we're in the movement of strength, always beginning and ending. What? Whoa, okay. Yep, those were ready to go. So let's see how many we got here. Okay, so we got 2. Okay, I love it. I feel like this one I noticed first, which was seasons. And how appropriate is that? So again, we're in winter. It's a time, it's a doorway. It's the earth experiencing itself in a moment of pause. And if the first reading had any relevance at all, it was about a series of pause, and recognizing. So in the seasons of life, of everything, we go through changes. It's almost like the whole world is stepping into a different doorway, a different time, right? And it just knows its own inner strength, and knows that there'll be a spring, and there'll be a summer, and there'll be a fall again. And they just know that it's a perpetual time of learning, growth, letting go. Like what the rune of strength was talking about before. Die, decay. And I mean, in decaying is, you shedding the things that you no longer need in your life. And so there you go. So there are your seasons. So recognize that. And this is about alignment. That perhaps that's what you need. If we get stuck in one place in our body, and we are all about, and our chakras aren't clear. And if you're unfamiliar with the chakras, you can go online and just Google chakras, CHAKRA. And what it is it's the centers within your body. And this card is asking you to recognize your alignment. So when you align with your true self, energy is allowed to flow up and down, which allows the energy to circulate in this beautiful rainbow energy of light. And it helps bring about change and perpetual growth and perpetual experiences in a beautiful way. When things start pooling up and are not allowed to, move, then you kind of get stuck in ways, in things, in spaces, without the energy of that perpetual love and light. And I'm going to take a look at what the alignment in the book is asking you to be aware of. And it says that life is a journey towards aligning with our true selves and connecting the mind, the body, and the spirit with our highest purpose. And that is, it's a trinity. And there's trinity in so many cultures and religions about bringing in, you got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. You have, every religion, every area of growth. Even if you look at the pyramids, you have your foundations here. You can't have the peak without this, right? You have to have a point where everything connects. And in the number 3, that's exactly what it does. And this one is talking about the connecting to who our true selves are by connecting our mind, which is our thinking, our thoughts, our expression outward into the world, and our body, which holds all that information and helps carry us through, and our spirit, which is both within and without our body. But it's the information that we're bringing into this lifetime from previous lifetimes and previous incarnations. And there's always a season of birth. If you look at the Trinity in that, you have to have a man and a woman and creates a child. There's another Trinity that we have going on here. So this is interesting. Like, it's 3 rocks that are creating the doorway open for you. And you need the strength to go through that doorway. And here you have 3 seasons of like growth and seeing the fruits of something, and then one of letting of complete rest, right? Where you get to take a little bit of a pause. In the alignment, it says, we see clearly because we're looking inwards for our answers. We are filled with purpose and can truly give our gifts to the world. So coming into alignment, it can feel like something that is never going to happen. How is that going to happen? How am I going to truly be aligned? And I think we're all coming and going out of alignment. I think if you can be in alignment all the time, that's pretty magical. But I think that the purpose of our experiences here on the planet is kind of pushing us in and out of alignment, and the ability to get back into alignment, right? And these experiences that we have are just part of our path and help illuminating us as we move forward. So I'm going to go to the Spirit Mamas, and this is the guidebook for that. This is Victoria Nielsen and Tiffany Wilkes. I picked this up at a yoga studio, and they were so beautiful. But they do have a lot of information in their book. So that's one that wants to come out. Oh, I love this. Oh, wow. I just really love this. Because as I'm looking at all these cards, this is the portal card. She's about ready to enter into this unknown space, but unlike this one's really dark and, could look scary, right? Because you can't see what's going on. And the truth is that this may appear one way to her, and when she gets through it, it may look completely different. So let's see if there is any other. Well, it's too many, but I'm going to take this one. Which is showing itself on the bottom, which is why I grabbed that one. And this one is about forgiveness. So 2 very unique energies coming through here. In the portal card, there's a lot going on around her, right? But this is everything that I don't know if you can see that, everything that she can see. And there's like an image of a boat, of a water, of a mountain, light. There's a lot going on the other side. She's kind of looking back at us, and she looks pretty confident. She looks like a princess. She looks like she's ready to move into something new. And I think that that's what's happening when you're in alignment. When you're in alignment with who you are, you're walking forward with this confidence and ready to go into a different space. And I think that it's telling you that you have the strength to be able to do that. That this is not a time for you to be afraid to let something go. And I find it interesting that the card after that is about forgiveness. And I don't know if you need to forgive yourself or someone else, but she's completely letting go and allowing, she's on the rock, which is stable, but she's surrounded by the water and the flowers. And the water is very emotional. This is, like the peace lily that's around her, that, Dragging old things forward just keeps you down. You know, those old experiences are just old. You've done it. You've got the experience. It's time to let things go. Something could be ready to die, which is what the first, card was suggesting, is that something could really just pop up that creates the change. And, this one is asking you if, from the book, it says that what is a portal? It's to another dimension, to another version of yourself from a past lifetime that needs to be healed and loved, told they are worthy and brought to light. And I think that that's why the forgiveness card came out with it, because it's a very unique perspective. And perhaps that's why she's looking back here, is that she is looking back at a past lifetime, but it needs to be healed. Everything needs to be forgiven and letting go, and to come into alignment with who you are. That bringing things from the past into the future creates that thing where you don't actually let it go and get the growth from it. You're bringing it forward and re-experiencing it over and over and over again. So the version of you that's brewing and bubbling and becoming, and it says here that that's what's possible, that there's something right now bubbling inside of you wanting to come forward, but you aren't quite ready to step into it yet. That you need this strength, and perhaps the season card is telling you that this next season is coming, and that you need, as the season changes, you need to get it into alignment, because right now you haven't stepped forward. You're still looking back at what was, and you can't step through that portal without letting it go. It's almost like you've got too much to go through the love and the light to the next phase of your life by bringing in the past, that you're not going to experience it to its fullest. So it says, what if it is a portal to a version of yourself you've always had access to, and it's not empty, and that it's really overflowing with love and energy. But right now you're not experiencing it because you're kind of feeling this like lack, or this thing that you're not really ready to let go of, or that you have just gone through a painful time and you're not sure how to let go. But I think all these cards are pointing to the fact that this is a time where you are in your journey, is that you can let go. You may feel like you're not ready to let go, but I feel like these cards are all asking you to let go. And I'm looking for this forgiveness card over here. It says, it's asking you, have you been holding on to something that's kind of festering in your heart? And so, when you look at where the heart chakra is located, and it's representative of the color of green. And I think that green is about this fertile knowing and this fertile being, and what you're allowing to let grow. And that is when you're in a state of pain, go out in nature and feel the love that's naturally pouring down from the sun. Feel the natural love of the earth. It's always supporting you. It's always there for you. And if you're going through a time where you feel like you need strength, that you can't let go, that there's so much going on in this old pain and this old thing, and this card being right in the middle, I think it's really asking you to become aligned. I work with tuning forks to help align and release old things from the body. I don't know if you can find somebody that, brings that into your life. I can do also remote tuning if it's something that you feel like you might be able to do, which creates a space where you bring in sound that allows something that you're holding on to. The resonance of it will keep you kind of jammed up in a way. And a tune will help balance that disturbance, because the body naturally wants to be in balance. That's our natural state. And when it's not in balance, just like, sound in trains, when, it's out of dissonance and everybody comes together in harmony, you can hear the music flow better. It's the same in your body, and tunes and tuning forks, that one of the things that I do also offers that for you, allowing you to just naturally release the disturbance or the cluster of energy that is kind of pooled up because of the pain. And it allows you to let go. And forgiveness could be of yourself or others. Well, we're all here on a path, and we're all learning from each other, and not all of us, get it right. So allow your heart to soften and expand with love, forgiving yourself or someone else for their weaknesses, rather than thinking of it as like, that is a personal weakness. Because they're being weak, you're being weak. It's okay to be or to feel weak. But know that forgiveness is not a weakness. And you're not, saying whatever happened didn't happen, or that it was okay that it happens. It's just, you're just letting it go so you can move into another space in your life. And I think that that's where the cards are trying to help you understand that, is that you're here. This is stuff all around you, and you can be in balance. But to be in balance is that you have to know that things naturally come and go, that you are constantly in a perpetual state of living, dying, rebirth, change, and it's not something to be afraid of. It's something that is actually easily done every day. Oh, look at the beautiful energy of the deer. I'm going to take this one in as well. And it actually came up in reverse. So these cards, when they do come up in reverse, have pertinence here. And the deer energy, I'm going to show you these two cards right now. But there's the deer and there's the squirrel. And this is the medicine cards. And these are by Jamie Sands and David Carson. And it's the discovery of the power through the ways of animals. And, you may be interested also in the numbers. Deer and the number 4. The number 4 energy, if you're, into numerology a little bit, I see 4 as an energy of like stabilization and balance. And the deer energy, which when you look at this beautiful deer, what do you think? You think of Bambi and gentleness and kindness, and that's what the deer energy is really all about. There's a lot of information about deer and the wisdom of deer, and we have deer around us all the time, and they really are these beautiful, gentle creatures that offer us understanding. A lot of people hunt deer. I'm a little bit more of a vegetarian, and so I don't, and I see this gentleness. I've seen a lot of deer in my yard, and it's the mother and the fawn, and I can feel, so that gentleness really resonates with me. And I think that that's why this card is coming in for you, is it's asking you to be either gentle with yourself or with something that happened with others. And that, when you look at the strength card in the tarot, it shows, in some tarot cards, it shows a woman, she's got a lion, but there's a gentleness about it. So in being in your strength, you can allow the gentleness to come about and help heal some of the wounds that have happened from whatever it was that you've experienced here. So that's what this card is asking you to do, is to bring this gentleness in to allow this healing. Now, squirrel energy is quite a bit different. And squirrel is just like what you think it is. A squirrel is, he's a gatherer, right? And he's always looking to the future. So he's always gathering nuts. He's afraid of being out. So if you've ever, been around, and I've got the book open now to give us some more information. But if you've ever been around a squirrel and watch him, they're almost chaotic. They are constantly busy, constantly doing, constantly preparing things for another day. And don't get me wrong, they're having fun while they're doing it as well. But, what can happen is that they have so much stuff that they've forgotten where they put it all. And I think that that's what this card is in reverse asking you, is that have you just gathered and put a whole bunch of stuff around you, and then you can't see anything clearly, And it is. It's like, it's so funny because the first thing it says in here is, are you being a hoarder? Are you, and hoarding is not just physical things, like emotional things. And I think that that's what this is talking about, like holding on to stuff that's really not serving you, whether it's emotional, maybe you've got literal stuff from this heartache that's been going on, or maybe you lost somebody that was so near and dear to you that you feel like you can't let it go, but you can. They're always with you. It wasn't the thing. It wasn't the thing. The thing represents a feeling or an experience or a reminder. And if you keep so much of another person around, where are you in all that? You kind of confuse where do you begin and they stop? Or who are you? Have you become them now that they're gone? Or are you trying to hold on to them through their things? I don't think anybody wants that. They want you to be a full expression of yourself. So I think it's asking you to get in alignment because it asks 4 questions in the book. Have I denied my ability to produce enough space for abundance to enter? Because as you're moving into a new space, like I said before, everything is a different perspective. Everything is additional information that you're receiving. But if your hand is open, you can receive. If your hand is closed, you can't. So go into a new space and see what it has to offer. Receive what that space has to offer and let some of the old things go. So have I denied my connection to the Earth Mother from whom all things flow? So this is also the alignment of you. Are you allowing things to flow within you? Are you damming it up and hoarding? Is your energy getting stuck in different areas? In moving too fast, have I taken on an erratic nature like what the squirrel does and losing your focus? Or am I leaking my energy on worry instead of gathering power through being prepared? Squirrel family gathers. It says, remember, one of the squirrel family gathered the energy of an eagle and connected to the great spirit. Now the squirrel can fly. So if you've ever seen a flying squirrel, that's what I think it's talking about, is that there are really lots of different phases. There's lots of information that's coming to you all the time. We can't hold on to all of it. If we open ourselves up to receive more abundance, more information, more flow of energy, then we can change, forgive, let go, step into a whole new space. So the last deck I'm going to bring in for a last little bit of clarification is Crow Tarot. So Crow Tarot is by M.G. Cullinane, and I'm asking for what is waiting for us. This card wanted to be shown. Oh, this came out in the last reading as well. The King of Wands. So it's interesting that, it's sitting right here under the alignment card. And when you're in perfect alignment, bringing in your strength, bringing in your ability to shine your light, have your, this is about the dream times, this is about love. He's standing in his power, understanding that even if you're at a crossroads in your life, that you're always going to come back out again. There's always a cross in the 8, the figure 8. You go out here, expand, come together, integrate, go out again in a different direction. There's always a integration, a receiving additional information. And this is asking you to stand in your true alignment, which is your place of creativity, of power, of light, allowing your inner light to shine. Is there any additional information? Yes. Well, this one really popped up. Wow. So this is the King and the Queen. This is King and a Queen, which shows the balance of energy, and they're looking at each other. So when you let go of old things, of hoarding, holding on to old stuff, and step into your true power of alignment, the balance of masculine and feminine, we need masculine energy to move us forward. This is about moving forward in your power and your energy. This is about being in and knowing, like, the feminine aspects of having worldly possessions and knowing that now you can share. So I feel like in the balance of this, having all this energy to move forward, stepping into your power, your strength, forgiving others, you're going to see a beautiful balance of and possibly even a coming in, a coming together of you and someone else. If you had to let go of something, in letting go of something allows something to come in and balance you out. Is there any additional information for reading 2? Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. So, and then this is 11, and I had an 11 in the first reading. I love this because it makes me feel like, it's a divine gift of some sort. And this is about justice. And I was just talking about the balance here. And justice card is all about that. His eyes are closed with this red ribbon because he doesn't need them. He knows he's flying forward in his strength, in his power, with balanced energy. And the justice comes about when you're in balance. And this is what happens after you've done something. So I feel like all of this is saying when you get your strength, to know that you can let go of things, allow this alignment of you and everything to come together, that you're going to soar into your strength. You're going to have your energy is going to come back. You're going to have the things that you need and possibly come together with a new pairing for you and another person. So that is your reading today. Thank you so much for being a part of this. If you like it, please give me a little thumbs up to let me know that you've liked it. If you have any comments or would like a personal reading, please reach out, send me a comment. If you're interested in a particular type or style of reading, perhaps I could help with that. I'd love to hear your comments on that as well. Please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you in another reading. Bye now. Hello, welcome back. So how exciting. These readings have been really, really fun for me today. Well, I started out with, where are we on our journey, right? Where are you on your personal journey? And I chose the 13 runes, the cycles of initiation, and asking, where are you on that cycle? In your journey, we're all on a journey. We're all moving, even if we don't feel like we're moving sometimes, in a direction. And it's nice to move forward with information. And sometimes I feel like that's exactly what the card readings do, is they just give us a little bit of insight. I'm not going to predict the future. I'm not going to tell you which way to go or how to live your life. But I'm here to offer some information that might help open a little bit of something maybe that you didn't think of before, or I ask and I say a little prayer before I start my readings, to help for clear guidance. For me to be a clear conduit for you, so you can receive the guidance that you need most at this time. And that's where I'm coming at. So on this journey, the card of movement is Iwaz. And as you can see, if the card is right side up, there's this beautiful, I love the dragon energy in here because he's got, that's what's on the front of the boat carrying him forward. This is the dragon year, the wood dragon, and this is a wooden boat, and the sail is, light and moving forward. And it looks like he's moving up and onward, despite the fact that it looks like it's night and there have been challenges. You can see this as either darkness, or you can see it as, a kind of a mystical setting where things that you're just not sure of everything around you, it doesn't matter because you have a clear direction and you know which way you're going. But the card was in reverse. So Iwaz is that warrior, able to move forward despite the distractions, the clouds, whatever is going on in the future, and knowing that as long as you keep moving forward, that the development that happens in movement, in perpetual movement. Nothing in your body stays the same. I think I've heard that we get a completely new body every 7 years. Like all the cells are moving and growing and dying and letting go. And so our body's in complete movement. Trees, constant growing, flowers, growing, dying. There's all these cycles, but no matter what cycle it's in, it is a form of movement, even as we're in winter. And it feels like things are not really showing much movement out there, but they're doing it quietly and they're doing it slowly. And I feel like the reason why this is upside down is because the relationship to movement in your life is blocked somehow. Whether you have stopped moving, whether you have stopped growing, whether you have just been stuck. But we need to find a way to right this movement. So it could be that there was an opportunity and you feel like you missed it. And that you're kind of not sure which way to go. Maybe that, you're just kind of stuck. We've all, I was an artist for a number of years. I still consider myself an artist, but if you can't like push it to happen. So when you're working on creating something and the movement stops and you don't know what to do, you actually have to walk away, take a breath, and come back and reevaluate, because in the movement of walking away, it actually creates movement for you to get started again on whatever it is that you're at, whether you're an artist or whether that you're, whatever journey that you're on. So I think that that's what this card is about, is that you need to get going again. Know that what is yours, what is meant to be yours, will definitely come to you. But in your journey, I feel like you're not moving, and I'm not sure if that's serving you not to be moving. So we're going to take a look at the cards and see is this good that you've stopped, or do you really need to get going? The next cards that we're going to look at is the journey card. I thought they were really nice because we're talking about the journey. And this is by Alison, Filice. And these cards are really fun. I always enjoy. So we need some additional information for pile 3. And what's going on here? Where is she on the journey, and what kind of information do we need to bring forward to get this movement going for her? Like, even the cards are just like, I'm not sure. So they're going to make me, oh, there we go. Okay, I was going to say, sometimes when they won't move for me, then I have to force movement. And it's really interesting. I'm glad that happened like that, because there's 3 cards I think that came out for you. But when you have, I've done this in my own life. When you have had a process where you feel like something needs to happen, you don't know, you're a little confused which way to go, and you kind of force it and you make it happen. That's kind of where I was. So I think that's relevant to you right now. Don't force it. Because these 3 cards, interestingly, boundaries. So it's either saying that there are some boundaries that you need to set up before you move forward, or that you've set up boundaries that are not allowing you to move. Because the next card in the mirror is asking you to understand, like, look at what you're doing. What are you reflecting? What is reflecting back on itself, right? And then there's a process. There's a process that you need to, I think this is telling you that you've set up some boundaries, put some things into place, but are these asking you to look at what you're doing? Does it really reflect where you want to be or stay if you are not moving? And that there is another way to get the process going so you can move forward on your journey, because rarely, there's always a place of integration and contemplation. But when we are stopped, sorry about that, I just moved the camera. But when we are stopped, I moved the camera, I got it moving in. When we are stopped and noticing things that are around us, it gives us a time to reflect and to see where we are. But if your eyes are shut and you're not seeing that, like this door is shut, it's closed, and you're closed in, maybe. Maybe you're behind this door and you're not seeing what's on the other side, or you're afraid to open it because you're just kind of stuck. It's very interesting that this card is coming up. I'm going to read a little bit of what the book has to offer, because I believe that there are certain energies that come through that I feel innately when I'm doing a reading. But then I also feel like the reason why I choose these cards and the energy from these beautiful creators that are offering these, they have an energy of intent, and they have information that I think is pertinent to a lot of the readings that they specifically wanted to bring about when you see a card. And that's what I feel like with this boundaries. And what it says you are here for something only you can do. Make sure you have time, space, support, inspiration, and care for yourself on your path, and love yourself enough to say no and to be able to put up the boundaries and to stay clear with those who try to keep you small. And I love that it said that, because what I brought out in the first two readings was a quote that came to me yesterday. And I love it. And I printed it out and tacked it up on my refrigerator. And that quote is, anything or anyone who doesn't make you feel alive is too small for you. And that is interesting, that this lack of movement, maybe, are you in a space where you are feeling judged, or are you judging others? Are you trying to control what other people are saying or doing? Are you putting up boundaries that shouldn't be there, or are you putting up boundaries that need to be there? So it says here, it's that when you feel yourself judging or trying to control things, that you need to relax a little bit. And as you allow the world to seep in, you'll see things from a higher perspective. Patterns that weren't visible before and opportunities that wouldn't have existed if you kept that door closed will now be open. And you can watch what happens in your life. So I think that this card is saying that you're stuck, that you haven't been able to move forward, that you've set up these boundaries, and it's time to kind of open that door and allow something to seep in, because in doing so, it gives you a different perspective. It's interesting that that all of these readings kind of had a little bit of a similarity to them. So you may want to go back and check some of the other readings as you after you've read this one, if you feel, because there really were some similarities. So this one, I'm looking in the additional information book, and I've received this card quite a bit, and I like that it's a point where to me, this is a reflection point, right? This is a point where you have an opportunity to change what you're seeing and what is being reflected back at you. And what it says here is, life mirrors us back to ourselves, and encounters in the outer world tell us about what we're experiencing, what we have inside of us. And I really believe that if you look around you and you don't like what you see, it's because inside there's a lot of stuff in there that just doesn't make you or isn't true for you. That, maybe you've become something that you don't even recognize anymore. You've taken on different things that it's not exactly what you wanted. And so the only way to change that is through the way you think about things on the outside. It says, by paying attention to what's happening in our lives, we can see where we need healing or where we can grow. Things will happen that are beyond your control, but it's how we respond to it that reveals what the inner workings are within us. So I really like where this is going, because you're at a stopping point. I think this card is asking you to, when you're in this space, and that's all you see, but it's very limited. And it doesn't leave room for growth or for the sun or whatever. If you try to grow something in a very small space, that you can put so much in there and then you'll need a bigger space. So I think it's telling you, there's like a little sun here, and it's telling you that there's, let some things in. It's time. It's time to let some things in, because everything can get kind of old and stale and kind of diluted when you're not allowing some new air into it, or not allowing a little bit more love or openness or information. And if there are things that you're afraid of right now that you're seeing in your life, it's a reflection of the fear inside of you. It's reflecting back to you what you have within you. So if you're looking at a lot of stuff on the news right now and you're like, oh my God, the world's a mess, blah, 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 it's all these things that perhaps are kind of messed up in you. Like maybe you've taken on a bunch of things that have created confusion in your head, and you need to let it go. So I think you need a process. And it's interesting that this is coming out the way it is, because again, each one of these that you need to get moving. By moving, you're going to have a spark, which is what I see, a little bit of sun here. And you're going to see, have a little bit of air that comes in. You're going to be able to look at the things that you like, what you don't like, know that what your experience is mirroring something back to you that you need to see. And that perhaps through writing, I don't know if you want to write, but either journaling, writing down the things, getting it out into the open, get it out of your system, and allowing you to kind of let it go or see it in a new light. I'm going to go and see what the process has to offer, but I feel like because there's a road here and it's leading to insight, that's what this looks like. It's a winding road. It's leading you to that point of maybe a new perspective. And I think that the process is telling you that by opening the door, reflecting on where you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you need to change, letting go of some of these things, this in itself is a process. But you don't necessarily see that you're working towards this state of different knowing, of different thinking. So in the book, it says when we're working towards something, it's hard not to focus on the finish line. So intention is a good thing to have, right? When we intend and we gather information, it's a good thing to have. But sometimes looking over here, we miss all of the nuggets, all the beauty, all the joy of where it is. So, are you stuck, or are you moving forward and seeing the process of, give yourself some credit as you move forward. Allow you to love you for what you just went through and where you are and how far you've come. So it says, absorb yourself in the present in creating and lessen the future outcome. Whatever you're working towards will have a better chance if you enjoyed bringing it into life instead of worrying about the future. So is that what's going on? Are you afraid to move forward because you're afraid of the future, of what's going, because I feel like there's something really good. I'm gonna pull some cards from the next one, the Spirit Mama's book by Victoria Nielsen and Tiffany Wilkes, and ask, that one really wanted to come out. Okay, look at that. That is so lovely. So this card is asking you to be grateful, thankful, and blessed. And she's in pink. This beautiful image of the birds flying, her hair's blowing. She's almost one with the light. So I feel like this is a journey for you. Get moving, let some things come in, reflect, allow yourself to see where you are, what's reflecting back to you, what do you need to do. Don't look at the finish line. Be grateful for all the blessings and beautiful things that are in your life that are constantly showing you that there is, I'm gonna see if I can find that one in the book. These images are really lovely. They're taking, a lot of them have photographs and then they're overlaying a variety of different images in it. But this one has all these birds flying around, and I feel like it's almost a liberation. But in her, this being grateful, she's allowing that light in that we were talking about here. The spark of insight. And that's exactly what the book says, is take a minute to think about your life. That's where we were talking about this card here, which is right here in the middle of the deck, is that when you can take a look at the things that you love and that you don't love so much, and what can you change. If there's anyone or anything who doesn't make you feel alive, that it's just too small for you, and to let it go. And maybe you're locked yourself up over here in a space that's too small for you, because we all have a purpose and a light and ability to shine. And I have a feeling that you have a lot of things to be grateful for, but we don't always see it. It says all things grow and evolve in our lives when we pause and then think about what we are thankful for. It says, we start to give thanks and gratitude, and it turns into blessings. So be thankful and grateful for the things that you have. And when you are in that moment, it tells the universe that you're ready to manifest the blessings, additional blessings that are ready to come into your life. I love that. It's yes, I feel like this really has a pretty clear message for you. I hope that you're feeling the same thing that I'm feeling here. One of the things that I'm going to bring in is medicine cards. So when I'm feeling blocked and I don't know which way to go, I ask the animals, and I use this medicine card book, The Discovery of the Power Through the Ways of the Animals, by Jamie Sands and David Carson. And so I'm going to ask for the energy of the animals to help us get moving, to help us start moving forward. And what is it that we need in our life? Oh wow, that's a lot of cards. Okay, so they went flying. What did open up is the bat card, which I love bat. I have got bat for years. I actually moved into a new house this year, and in the attic, the bats couldn't come in, but there was just enough space for the bats to be there. And I was trying to figure out, how do I get bats out? And then I found out bats are endangered and they need they have to, there's only a certain time that you could actually remove bats where I live. And so it really gave me an awareness of kind of like the fragility of even the things that we don't think are a blessing or a good thing, and that how important it is to honor that for what it was, which is interesting that these first two cards are coming up in the reverse position. And bat energy that I received earlier, me sharing it with you, I feel like is exactly kind of maybe something happened and you're not seeing that the positive or the spin in that. I actually ended up never getting rid of the bats. I was going to bring the bats in, and now I've got chimes going on, and it's bringing in 11. And each one of these readings had 11 in it somewhere, and now we're getting 11 chimes on the clock, which tells me that there is like there's divine information in this space, in whatever is happening and coming around you at this time. Is like, this is all about rebirth. That's what this card is. And I said that I received it felt like for years, to the point where I said I can't have rebirth anymore because I feel like I've already gone through so much change. And I don't know if that's the way you're feeling and that's why you're stuck because you're like, I can't change anymore. How much more can I possibly change? Because I did feel that at time for me personally. And it's coming up in reverse because the constant moving and changing, which is really what this card was talking about, is that, opening yourself up to change, just keep moving forward. That death and rebirth are part of the same process. That when things die, it opens up for something new. And that it's a natural process. Death is not something to fear. Death is something that is a natural process, and we're all gonna die. And this card is talking about rebirth. That's really what it's about. It's about understanding the cycles in your own life. And we started this whole reading with the rune cycles of initiation and where are we on our journey? And this card suggested that you're not really moving. They've kind of been stuck. So when I had the bats in my house and I looked at them and I thought, oh my gosh, the universe is telling me to move again, because I had just moved and that I was going through another cycle of rebirth and death and all of that and transformation, and I was tired. I was like, oh, I don't know how much more I can do. But I allowed the bats to go through their natural cycle, and they actually left. They just came for a short time. They had their young, so there was a whole bunch of bats there at one time. Started out with only, I think, like 4, and then there was 7, and then there was like 40. And it was because other bats came and just roosted there for a short time, and then they were on a migratory path and went south. So I allowed the bats to be, and I wasn't afraid of them. But I was worried about the damage really of the house, but I allowed them to be, and then recognized the beauty of the bats. And then what I wanted to do was to create a space for them to naturally do what they do by creating a bat box outside. So I think that this card is giving you, through me, some sort of understanding that in your inability to move, all of this stuff that's waiting for you here, all of this movement, all of this, gentle openings and being able to reflect on things, knowing that it's a process and being grateful is always, it's a process. It's what movement is. And then rebirth, death and rebirth are a natural progression. But I'll read a little bit of what it says, is if the bat is upside down in the cave and he's not been allowed to move, it creates stagnation of spirit and a refusal to acknowledge the destiny. So when I was trying to stop the bats from doing what the bats just have done for probably decades, I wasn't allowing that beautiful natural cycle to happen. And that's what this card in reverse is saying. So it leads to a stagnation of the spirit and refusal to acknowledge your true destiny, which is always to use the talents to your fullest. Is there some area of your life that is dammed up and therefore stopped your desire to create and to move forward? Have you put up boundaries? Have you put too many rules and regulations? Have you put too much, instead of just allowing things to be creative? So some people think themselves in a corner with obstacles that are illusionary. And what it's just a little line that I read from the book, is that boundary. Know that things that you're experiencing, you have control over what boundaries that you put up. And if you get influences by others, about the boundary, and it's kind of closing you in and making you feel small, like I said before, it's not serving you, then boundaries are good. We all need boundaries in our life. But when you have set them up in a way where you no longer can move and create and be the fullest expression of yourself, then it creates stagnation and a distorted view, and you start pulling into you things that don't feel so good. So the last deck that I'm going to bring in to kind of help open up the understanding of what's going on here is the Crow Tarot, which is by M.J. Cullinane. Great deck. And I'm going to ask the crows to fly in and give us additional information and understanding. What do we need? Okay, so that's the first card that comes out. Oh my gosh. We need some joy. This here is all about everything that we could possibly want. This is where our heart is. So we need to bring our heart. What do you love? So by letting the energy flow again, it creates this love. This is, divine pairing. This is, light. This is growth. This is the birds singing and the ability to experience and be in love. So I think it's opening up a little bit, it's bringing in additional love. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is kind of standing here, reflecting, showing off what he's got, right? He's kind of a young energy in the, sequence between the Page and the Knight and the Queen and the King. And he's kind of stopped. He's not moving forward right now. He's just kind of experiencing where he is right now. And it's interesting because, I think that you have the ability to have the things that you need financially, bringing down in this space, that you can create a space where you can pause in your knowing. But I feel like you have to open yourself. I feel like you have to open your heart up first. So can I get some more clarification on what this Knight energy is? And where we're going. Okay, so interestingly, when I asked for more information about where this is going, the first card that came out was the Three of Wands. And I really like this energy. There's a lot going on. So there's the 8-pointed star back here, the mountains, and this bird is getting ready to cross over. So he's going into a new direction. He's crossing over. He's been on this side. Now he's ready to come over to a new side, a new perspective. And interestingly, we've got another 3. So we've got 2 3s coming in, and 11s and 3s were prominent in both readings, or all 3 readings, and you're reading 3. And I believe that this is saying, because these are looking forward here, is that there's been some really heartache, and maybe that's what's caused your inability to move forward, is that this heartache that happened for an experience, and holding on to that or blocking or creating up boundaries so you never get heartache again is not helpful. Because do you know anybody on the planet who hasn't had some form of heartache? And heartache is there not to just give you suffering, but it's there to give you a perspective, a new way of understanding. And in allowing the heartache to be just that, a time of pain and a time of, recalibrating and feeling things in a new way and moving things, we move forward with a different heart. But if you dam it up and you stop that from, becoming a new heart, being reborn into a new space of joy and love, then it becomes stagnant. When you set up too many boundaries and you're unable to see that this is just part of a process of you actually growing a stronger heart, a more aware heart, a more open heart, a more loving heart. But that's what the process of this is. That's why, that's why it happened, is to create growth. And then lastly, it's a victory card. And this card is, the 6 of Wands, and you can be seen again. This person has gone through something and there's a new awareness. He can be seen by others again. He can be recognized for the journey that he was on. So I feel like it's a time for you to get moving again. You may have had some heartache, and it may have brought this level of stagnation, and you're afraid to let some things go. But when you do, when you see that the natural flow of progression, that movement will come back. It is the year of the dragon, and I think this may be your year. I think this may be your year to move again, to heal, to understand that your heart grew in a way that every time we have a growth of any kind, it is preceded by something that was uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. But it's a natural process, and we need to allow ourselves to feel those as they come, to be grateful that we do have the blessings of the people that came and went, even the experience of heartache. These are all processes. These are all experiences. And if you stay in this victim state, it's just going to mirror back to you your own feeling of victim, of being a victim. And you're going to maybe get more people that want to break your heart again. So that's not what we want. We want to get the energies moving again. Know that there's a natural progression, that you have something to offer into the world. And part of that is through love. It's time to cross to a different side, to see the heartache for what it was, to be grateful that you have the ability to move forward. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here in this reading and this time for you. I send you many love and blessings for you on your journey. And if you would like a personal reading, please reach out to me. I'll leave my my email on the in the links down below. Like and subscribe, share with others, and I'm really open to comments. So let me know what you think of the reading. Have a beautiful day. Bye now.